Hope you guys are ready for another episode of Double D's in your face. That's right.
So I know you guys hate these questions that ask like, "Oh, who would you have fought in this time?" Or
yes,
in your prime,
tell
blah,
our
blah,
listeners.
blah.
Let's get some little more intellectual. We're not just
But
animal type of competitors. Come on,
But these
we're
ones-
actually rather sophisticated individuals.
Right, we use a fork and spoon when we eat. Right?
Don's almost domesticated here. I mean, almost housebroken even.
these ones I think would have been possible with your careers overlapping a little bit. And so this is from Mac Jagger. And
Mick Jagger? All right.
he says
Mick?
Mac Jagger.
Okay.
Mick, come on, Mick.
So
Don't be afraid.
he thinks Dan versus Fedor and Don versus Crow Cop would have been great fights.
I think he's right. I think they would have been great fights.
Yep. We'll just leave it at that. Sure.
All right.
That
That was the shortest answer we've had.
Let's turn the retro
months.
clock back and let's see if he can make that happen. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so on to this next one. This one's for Don. Brown trout 20. So a lengthy question here. It's a lengthy question here, and it's about one of your
I guess,
all-time favorite guys, Don.
I
So
guess this means you better pay attention because it's a long question.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to read it a couple times for you.
Probably. That's fine.
I hope Don forgives me for the following.
No, I won't brown trout.
He has a picture of John Wayne behind him. I don't think Don knows that when FDR declared World War II, John Wayne, who was 100% eligible to serve, ran right to the draft board and declared his family a dependency. It was despicable and unpatriotic, but legal. When John Wayne visited an army hospital in Honolulu during World War II, the injured GIs booed and jeered America's hero out of the hospital. They even threw bedpans at him. Those injured GIs were American heroes, not John Wayne. Feel free to research what I said. Sorry, Don, but you got brass balls. John Wayne didn't.
Well, thank you.
Well, at least
But
okay.
I will research that because I never heard that story before. So I'd be really interested to see if it's true. But what you got to realize is if it's printed by today's media, it's full of shit, because today's media will do anything to
discredit all kinds of things today.
Yeah, to discredit our heroes from the past and present.
I really, again, I'll say that's the way all the educational system is, that they don't want really Americans to have any true morals. They don't want Americans actually to really think and thought into things. It's kind of like they want most Americans just to be pacifists and just to be like mindless drones in life and just let our government take care of you. They aren't going to take care of you.
Yep, like they said, the government's strong enough to give you everything, it's strong enough to take it all away. Yep. Thomas Jefferson.
All right. On to the next one here. The second half of this question, I know you've answered before, but I don't think you've actually answered the first part on the podcast yet. And this is from Damp Sea Turtle. How did Don come by the
Some
nickname?
Of these names that they come up, Damp Sea Turtle. Okay.
How did Don come by the nickname the Predator? And what are your thoughts on Francis Ngannou taking up the mantle?
I came up on that because I had an English bulldog, much like Quinn, but he was a male. Quinn's a female. And when I pull the big old bulldog jaws back, and you see that under jaw, the jaw, the under jaw come up, just like the movie Predator. So I was named after a family dog.
Now that you tell me that, I remember you telling us that before.
Yep.
And since you answered that part, any thoughts on Francis Ngannou taking up?
I think it's great. From one world champion to another.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think a lot of ring names have. I mean, they've been around. It's kind of like the ring name, the Beast. There's been hundreds of beasts before me, and there'll be hundreds of beasts like after me. I just think it was kind of cool that, like I got my little ring name from Jim Brown. That was pretty cool.
Right.
So.
Okay. This one is for both of you.
I think Ngannou's doing a great job
Oh,
with it too. He is a predator. He hunts down the.
He represents the American dream. He came to the United States, and you look at the man arrived here basically with nothing.
Right. Now he's a world champion. He's worth,
Yes.
Should be worth millions of dollars, but due to the lack of pay from the UFC, he's not. So, but he deserves to be, and he should be.
Yeah.
This is for both of you from Alexander Patterson. For Dan and Don, I heard you guys mention you were afraid you'd get arrested after stepping out of the ring in the early days of the profession due to it possibly being illegal. Do you have any stories of you or your friends getting arrested for fights or having to deal with cops? Don, it's been a pleasure watching you punch the absolute mess out of people over the years. Thanks.
See, you don't ever say that about
you.
Yippers. Once again, I just showcased the fact that I don't win with those kind of skills. Okay, there, Don, go ahead and just answer that question right there. I mean, because I've never had no problems with that. I mean, there was a couple of shows that, the
UFC 9.
Yeah, we were saying that we were down at we actually had to move from one state to another state.
Right. Yeah, that was 12, right?
Yeah. Again, I lose count here right now, but yeah, the one that literally overnight we were on a commercial airplane and then flew to another state just to be able to run it.
Right. They chartered an airplane, to move everything, lights, cameras, the ring, everything.
And then to go to a whole different location and simply just open up the doors and simply say, just come out and watch it because they didn't, there was no time to market it.
No advertising, no marketing, no advertising.
Niagara Falls, yeah.
Then but the money was at the pay-per-view.
No, the UFC had to go through a lot of growing pains, and it's gone through different ownerships as well. I mean, what is that? Is this the third ownership or fourth ownership here right now? You had Art Davey, Gracie, and number one, and then you had number
Bob
two, Bob Meyerowitz for number two. Number three, I think that's
the Fertitas.
The Fertitas with Dana White, and then number four is like more or less the Chinese Hollywood conglomerate. It was still, I mean, I know Dana White's still on board in whatever different types of capacity there with that. So, I mean, there's four ownerships right there.
Right. And Bob Meyerowitz is a great guy to work with.
Yeah, Bob was always good about things.
Yep, absolutely.
But then, so our Davey, I mean, I got along really great with our Davey.
Art was always a man of his word.
Yep.
He was a great guy. Like I said before, every MMA gym should have his picture up on the wall, just like all the karate and judo and jiu-jitsu places have
their sensei or whatever.
Well, Art created this MMA.
Yep.
All right.
Very good, very good.
Next question here, Magnus McVicar. Not really as concerned with his question because you've talked about this guy before. He says he wants to know what your thoughts on Jake Paul are, but what I'd like to know more specifically are what's your thoughts on this little Jake Paul Dana White feud that's going on lately.
I don't know anything about it. So you want to clue me in?
Again, it's the whole feud, what it's about. I'm always about whatever because I've seen just a couple of the clips, just because different people have said it to me. And the whole thing is that, well, first off, Jake Paul has showed up to several of the UFCs and has had some interaction with some of the different fighters. But then also he's fought a couple of different of the former UFC champs that it basically has knocked them out. So he keeps showing up to, I guess, the different UFC things. I think trying to either try to get on camera or try to get to some more of the UFC competitors or to get under Dana White's skin. I mean, I think it might be a combination of all the above. But but he's a YouTuber. As being as a YouTuber, he has a brother. Again, I don't know if his brother is older or younger, but he and his brother are both YouTubers. They, I guess, again, from the article, they do very well as YouTubers. But they've been able to use a lot of the same, this YouTube following, stuff like that. And then they both have athletic background, both at different sports, but then also boxing. So the whole thing was simply to take these MMA fighters and challenge them to a boxing match. It's kind of like that guy taking you out of your element strengths, but then put you to something else. Like maybe it would be just nothing but say a kickboxing match, and all you think that you're allowed to do is box. Well, that's going to take certain aspects out of you, because we look at like Thai fighters. Oh, they kick the shit out of you left and right.
Yeah, they're nasty.
So, but it's just the whole feud. It's pretty ugly the way that they kind of go after each other, and I'll say that both sides have got some points. Jake Paul is basically bringing out, trying to get actually some better fighters' pay for the fighters.
Good.
And that the UFC should be ashamed of themselves, that the fact that they're giving out only, I might have some of my figures wrong, that they're only giving out roughly about 20% of their proceeds go towards actually the fighters' pay, whereas other sports like I guess look at other all total pro type sports are given somewhere between that 40 to 50% goes to the athletes themselves, and that there's actually type of medical benefits that if you get hurt as a football player or something like that you're taken care of, and where there's not those same type of things for MMA fighters, that they're just looked upon as contracted labor, almost like the same way as like you look at a lot of professional wrestlers, contracted labor. So I'm
independent contractor.
Yeah, I'm aware of it, and I'll say that I think both sides have got some merit to them. No one is actually putting a gun to the fighters' heads to get them to go out there, but at the same token, competition is a good thing. I really wish there was, like the NFL, the other pro level teams. They've got numerous teams that they could go to. There really is only one true game in town right now when it comes to MMA. I'm a big believer that competition is a good thing.
Yeah.
If there were a couple more rival companies,
competition makes you work harder.
Yes.
Makes you think harder.
And it'll bottom line, it will benefit the athlete himself.
Right.
So because now he knows that I don't have to typically go with option number one. I've got some other options I could go to. So I look at that. I just wish there was a couple more MMA companies that were doing well, because bottom line, who would it benefit? It benefits the athletes. Right. And, just as Jake Paul has said, it's the athlete that walks out there that is risking his life, and still even being out there. Not only is he risking his life, but he's aging his body in a way that the average American is not.
Right.
So, because the average American is not being punched, kicked, thrown around, so reefed on. It's they're just I'm all about the athlete, because that's
absolutely.
So,
all right.
But Mr. Paul, Mr. White, if you will negotiate for me to fight Mr. Paul and put up the money for training camp, I'm all for it, partner. And I'll take 40% of that gate, 50% of that gate.
All right. Hopefully we can make that happen.
Can I come and just sing the Star Spangled Banner or something?
No, you can't do anything. You stay home.
I can't be Whitney Houston.
No, you can't sing. No.
Otherwise, there'll be no one in the stands.
you can go sell hot dogs out front.
I could do that too.
Yes, you can. You can't eat any, but you can sell them.
Oh, come on. One for them and one for me.
No.
You don't want Dan in your corner for this,
You're destroying your profits. Think about your profits.
Oh.
Yes.
Don't talk like that. You're making me misty-eyed over here. Okay. All right.
I guess Dan's not going to be in Don's corner for that one.
Oh, no. Dan's going to be outside selling hot dogs.
Concessions.